my door. So my husband went to Georgia Tech, and so I am going to make a wreath for our door. So I just thought I would go ahead and record it while I'm making it so I could show you how to do it. So this sign is a trademark sign. So one thing I want to say is if you're going to make something, it's fine to do it for your own door, but for sure do not make these and sell these because that is illegal and you could get yourself in a lot of trouble. So if you're going to do something like this, make sure it's only for you. What you can do is do something with the colors without a trademarked logo. So we do have things in our shop that would work. I just wanted to do this one specifically because it means a lot to my husband. All right, so I'm gonna get zoomed down and we're gonna get started. Okay, so I have two mesh. I have a gold with the white and I have a navy with the gold and a little white. So those are the colors that I want to use. I have a tan base, so it's not really going to matter what color base you use because you're not really going to see it. Okay. So I'm going to cut these two at 30 inches each. Then I'm going to cut up the rest of the mesh at 10 inches just to make some curls. Okay, so we have enough for one in each tie. And these are our ribbons. So we have a blue, navy blue with a gold. We have just some gold. And we have a little diagonal striped white. So I'm going to cut these at 13 inches. I'm going to dovetail these by folding them in half and cutting upwards towards the wired edge. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up the ties on the bottom. This helps me to go ahead and get ready. It's going to reduce the amount of time that I have to take, and it just makes it faster. And you'll be ready as you're putting them in. There are 10 ties on the bottom and 8 ties on the top. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate the colors. I'm also going to alternate the ribbons. So we'll do one with the white and one with the gold. In addition, we will take one of the curls and add that in as well. So I'm going to be doing ruffles. And what I do is I lay the mesh down flat. You know you have it the right way if it wants to curl in on itself. So if it's curling in on itself, you have it the right way. If you're doing cruffles or woodland ruffles, it would be the opposite, okay? So it would want to curl in itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck the edge under, just a tiny little curl like this. I just want to tuck it under to hide anywhere where it might fray. And then I'm going to gather it right up the center. I'm using my Deco Mesh Ruffle tool, which you push instead of pull. But you can also just use your hands. I tuck the end under. And if I'm using my tool, I go ahead and push everything down towards the bottom, just like this. That way I can go ahead and load on my curl and my ribbon. Now I want to keep with the color blocks, so I'm going to use the same color that I have in the mesh. I'm just going to curl it up, place it down, and I'm going to put the white in with the white and gold mesh. So I just fold it in half, pinch right in the center, and I like to go ahead and get some edge under it, kind of going to look like a bird. I'm going to place that in right in the middle, and then I'll pick the entire thing out and place it down on a tie, and right in the middle where it was gathered is where you're going to place it down. Then you just spread out your ruffle, spread your ribbons out, and you can either tuck these in like this. I just kind of curl them on themselves, or you can trim it off. Either way works fine. Okay, let's do the next one. So we're just going to keep doing this all the way around. So you just push it down, roll it over one time so you can see how those edges are kind of tucked in there. And then I go straight up the center. So it's going to end up looking like a bow tie. Okay. There we go. We have our curl here. Just place that in. And then we're going to do the blue and gold with the gold on top. So what this is going to do is this is going to further the colors that are already in there. This is color blocking. So in other words, you have blocks of colors. If you wanted to do color mixing, then what you would do is you would put this blue one with the white and change out the ribbons, and then you would be mixing the colors. Just gives you a different look. Same process. Now I'm going to take my mesh, spread it out like I did before, but this time I want to take the two tops of the ones right next to each other, and I want to kind of walk them down together. So I'm spreading them out together and letting it go as I go down. And what this does is this allows these two pieces to curl in together, and then they will stand up more. Okay, and we'll just put that in. Okay, and I'm going to do that at each one. Okay, so let's do it one more time, and then I'll do the rest sped up. Okay, so tuck it under. Now, if you don't have a tool, you push with your hands, right? So put your thumbs in the back, push with your thumbs, pull with your fingers. I like to use my tool because I have problems with my hands, and it saves my hands from hurting. It also makes it a little bit easier, but you can see what it looks like. And then you would place it down, tie it one time, then get your curl, place it down, tie it one time, and then your ribbon. I go ahead and tie it down because it's easier than trying to hold it in my hand. Okay. Now you can open this back up and put the ribbon in, or you can just tie it again. Okay. Tuck it under. You can see it looks the same no matter which way you do it. Okay, and then we spread it out. See how I just kind of match them together all the way down, and then I let them go, and they will naturally curl into each other. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the rest, and then we'll start on the top. Okay, on the last one, you want to correct the edges or pull out the edges on both sides. Okay. Otherwise, they will tend to kind of lay on top of each other. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start on the top and do the same process. So just like on the bottom, I'm going to open all my ties up. It's just going to make it a lot easier. Okay. And we're going to do the same process that we did on the bottom. Okay, so we're just going to make our ruffles. Going straight up the middle and tucking the edges in. Okay, we'll add our curls. And our ribbons. Pull it out and place it down. This time you want to make sure, kind of pull it up and make sure it's not smashing down into the bottom. And I like to pull my ribbons out like an X. That way we can see all of the ribbons and their patterns. Okay, let's do it one more time, and then I'll complete the rest. Okay, so we have our ruffle and our curl. Add in our ribbons. Pull everything out. Okay, place it down. And spread it out just like we did on the bottom. Okay. In addition, you just want to make sure that it is not pushing down on the bottom and causing these to really cramp up. Okay, and we spread out our ribbons. Then I'll keep doing this all the way around the top. Okay, just like on the bottom, we're going to put it in and spread it out on both sides. This is for the last one. And then you may need to just kind of go around and straighten up the ribbons a little bit because they will they will get a little bit pushed down as you're going around. So just kind of take a few minutes to straighten up your ribbon. There we go. Once I have all the ribbons straight, then I'm going to get my sign ready. And so I'm going to put a hole on each side. I'm going to use my hole punch. This is just a metal hole punch. And I'm going to use some 26 gauge wire. I like this because it's thin, it's easy to get through the mesh, and it's easy to hide. I cut about 20 inches worth. Then I'm just going to thread it right through the hole. And kind of double it up. So I'll just kind of twist it right there on the edge to keep that wire from moving. We're going to place it right in the center. I'm going to use a weaving needle. So this is just a plastic needle. It's longer. I'm going to thread it right through, the wire right through, and I'm going to push it right down through the mesh. So you can see where it's coming out the other side, right here. So I just pull it right on through, and then I'm just going to twist it around this wire bar. So this is going to hold it in place, and it's going to make it a lot more secure. Okay, so I'll do it 2 or 3 times and then trim it off, and then just kind of tuck it in. Okay, and then I'll do the exact same thing on the other side. Alright, so you want it to be tight enough to stay in place, but not so tight that it's going to squash anything. Then you can kind of pull out any ribbons that you need to. Some might get buried under the sign. Just kind of pull them out and straighten them. There we go. Just like that. Okay, so now we're going to make a bow. Okay, so I'm going to put this blue and gold on the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to dovetail it just like we did before. And I'm going to do, about a 14-inch tail. I'm going to put it down sideways in my bow maker, and I'm going to twist it on the side I want to make the loop. Okay, so this is the side I'm going to start my loop on. I'm going to go to where I want my loop. I want it at the 6-inch mark, so this bow maker has the markings on it. So I'm just going to go down to the 6. I can even put my finger there to make sure it stays in place. I'm going to go down sideways again, and I'm going to twist on the side that I want to make the loop. So on this side. You're only twisting it once, and it's basically like a half turn to get it on the opposite side. Okay, so again, twist, sideways twist, okay, sideways twist. Again. Okay, and on the last loop, so we're doing 3 at 6 inches. I'm not going to twist it because I'm going to pull my ribbon out to trim off my tail. Okay, there we go. Now you can leave them stacked or you can go ahead and start stretching them out. It doesn't matter. It's not going to make a difference in the way the bow looks. Okay, next I'm going to come in with the gold. So you can see one side is a little bit shinier than the other side. So this is the good side, this is the bad side. So we're going to do the same thing, about 14-inch loop, twist. So you can see this is the bad side, this is the good side. So you flip it so that the bad side's up and you come across to bring the good side up, the pretty side. Okay, so we just keep repeating this process over and over. We're going to do 2 loops of this. So this bow is 3 loops at 6, 2 loops at 6, and then it'll be 1 loop at 6. Okay. All right, and then we're just going to put a nice plain white on the top. So again, twist, 1 loop. Once I get some loops in there, I just use those loops to measure from. You can still use the measurement on the bottom. It's just what you're comfortable with. Okay. Okay, so then I'm going to take a zip tie. I like to use zip ties because they're going to get it really nice and tight. It's going to make it easier to fluff your bow. Slide it under the bottom. Make sure it's under all the ribbon on one side. Get it started. Don't pull it all the way tight, and use that to pull your bow out. So your zip tie is going to be on there pretty loosely. You can see the indentation where we had it in the bow maker. So you want to hold one side of the bow loosely, but enough so it's not going to move, and take that zip tie, run it around the back, and then take a minute to make sure it's in that indentation. You can even go to the other side and make sure. It's not going to come off because you've already gotten it started. So you want to get it tight enough so that the loops are not going to move, but not so tight that you can't get a pipe cleaner under it. So now I'm just going to put my pipe cleaner under, and then I will finish tightening it off. If you have trouble tightening, you can get one of these zip tie guns, and it will tighten and cut the zip tie for you. So before I fluff it, I'm going to stop and I'm going to pull my loops apart. This is really going to help with the fluffing process. So pull them apart just like this. Okay. And then to fluff it out, what you want to do is you want to break the bow from the center. So if you see, there are pieces that are stuck down in there in that center. So to get it unstuck, you want to just kind of twist it back and forth and then pull out any little pieces that are stuck down in there. This is going to get you a nice fluffy bow. So in other words, you're going to be able to really get a lot of space in those bow loops. If things are really stuck in the center, then it's not going to fluff as nicely. So break those pieces out. Don't be afraid to mess with your bow because you have it in that zip tie, and that zip tie is going to hold it nice and tight. Okay? You want to do one side and then the other. It's really easy, especially in the beginning, to get lost where you are fluffing your bow. And that is what happens to a lot of people when they get frustrated. It's because they have fluffed their bow going back and forth. Do one side and then do the other. it's going to be much easier to keep your bow right in the right spot. Okay, and then you can curl up the edges. I just use my thumbs, just kind of walk up. Just like that. All right. There we go. And then we have, I just kind of run my hands under the other one to get them cascading. I'll cut off my zip tie here. And then let's take a look at everything. Okay, so here's our bow. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that pretty? And here is our wreath. Isn't that pretty? Look how pretty that is. So that's going to look great on our door. And it just says, welcome to our home, and here is our bow. So we'll put the bow on the mailbox. I don't tend to put bows on my wreaths on my door because my husband and my boys and my father tend to brush into it all the time and smash it. So I just put it on my mailbox. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed this, and make sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when we're going live and when we're uploading new content. All right, have a great one. Bye, y'all.